Liverpool versus Arsenal in one phrase: perfect storm. Perfect for Liverpool because they put in the best performance of the Premier League season so far. It caps off a fantastic week where they defeated Hoffenheim in the Champions League qualifier and were rewarded with a favourable group. Storm for Arsenal because this 4-0 defeat will be the beginning of a long and hurtful season, and hopefully the beginning of the end for Arsene Wenger, because for flip's sake, what's wrong with you, man? Liverpool fans, I'm sorry for this rant. I will focus on your performance, but the crisis at Arsenal is the headline here. I remember last season, at the height of the Wenger out chance, I had a video analysing Gary Neville's talk with Arsenal Fan TV, and I labelled 3 reasons why Arsenal's decline was terminal. 1. Predictable and naive tactics. 2. Negligible transfer activity. And 3. Inability to motivate players. If ever there was a time to sack this has-been, last season was it. And don't tell me to put respect on his name, because Wenger clearly does not respect the fans enough to resign, because when all the signs pointed towards resignation, he taunted the fans and the media, and only after creating a media circus that he started did he eventually sign a new 2-year deal. And we were promised by Stan Kroenke changes would be made. Bullshit. These first 3 matches have confirmed everything Albert Einstein said. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. And you know what? I think it's great Wenger found a new formation in the 3-4-2-1 after sticking religiously to the 4-2-3-1 for 10 years. But don't make the same mistake by sticking to one tactic for the next decade. Deploying a 2-man midfield featuring the sluggish Granit Xhaka and the attack-minded Aaron Ramsey was a recipe for disaster waiting to happen against Liverpool's energetic midfield and lightning-quick offence. It's no surprise that all 4 goals involve some sort of breakaway, with Xhaka and especially Ramsey nowhere in sight. This does not just concern the Liverpool match either. Arsenal have conceded more shots than any other Premier League team besides Sunderland in 2017. So now you ask, what holding midfielders have Arsenal signed to make themselves more solid in the midfield? None. Just a £52 million striker who didn't even start, and a wing back deployed as a centre back who didn't even play. And of course the players see this, so you can't be mad when Danny Welbeck is the only player putting in effort. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Alexis Sanchez, the only ones to come out of last season with any credit to their name, they looked exasperated. Lo and behold, they only have a year left on their contract, with the Ox in particular rejecting a 180k offer a week. Likewise, Mesut Ozil is in his last year not having signed a contract, so too are Mertesacker, Cazorla and Wilshere, whilst for some blooming reason, Mustafi has one foot out on the door. He only joined last year. Can someone please tell me why Mustafi wants out? I haven't been paying attention because I thought there was nothing to pay attention to. But apparently Sky Sports are saying that he's agreed terms with Inter Milan. Why? Moving on, Liverpool were amazing. Arsenal are a team that have a specific way of playing, and despite my berating of them, they are quite consistent in that regard, and generally have to be overruled to look as pathetic as they did. Against Leicester, Arsenal looked vibrant, and despite losing to Stoke, Arsenal had many chances. Against Liverpool, Arsenal had 0 shots on target for the first time since October 2014. Liverpool's defence, which generally gets overlooked, and will generally get overlooked for this performance, more than held its own. Joel Matip and Gomez made several interceptions, which prevented the Gunners from taking the final step towards goal. One interception from Gomez in particular directly ended up with Mane bagging the 2nd goal of the game. Gomez also whipped in the cross for Firmino's header. Alberto Moreno, the much maligned Alberto Moreno, also made 6 tackles, half of Arsenal's entire total, exemplifying how badly Arsenal bottled it. Of course, all the plaudits will go towards the attack, and rightfully so. Sadio Mane is making a strong case to be Liverpool's best and most important player. Mohamed Salah has turned out to be the player I thought he would be, and Roberto Firmino is arguably the league's most underrated. But the attack only had a platform to shine because the trio behind it dominated. Jordan Henderson was back to his energetic best. His best moment was when he stole possession and then went on a long burst and run towards goal, narrowly missing the target. Gini Wijnaldum was nothing short of phenomenal. I've given this guy so much slack, a lot of it was deserved. But against Arsenal, and generally speaking against big teams, he shows himself to be the ultimate big game player, thriving in games where there's space. Aaron Ramsey and Granit Xhaka were on their skates looking like Bambi on ice. Wijnaldum recorded 8 dribbles, 1 less than Arsenal as a whole. But my man of the match was Emre Can. Unlike Henderson, who was largely endeavour, and Gini, who was flashy, Chan's game had tons of substance behind it. In addition to the assist, he was heavily involved in all the goals as he made himself available to pick up the ball from the defence and link to play the attack. He drove forward with such purposefulness and put in tackles. It was a real Yaya Toure-esque performance. The biggest compliment paid to him was by Jamie Carragher, when he said that Liverpool has spent the whole summer chasing a midfielder for 60 odd million. Chan played like one today. I agree. Give the man his damn contract. If there was one negative, and there is one, it's the situation with Simon Mignolet. I don't buy Klopp's excuse that he was giving him a rest. It sounds way too contrived, if not totally unnecessary. Luckily, for his sake, Arsenal were not on it, because twice, Danny Welbeck caught Lloris Karius napping, and he could have ballsed up a very simple game. Liverpool's euphoria was made all the more enjoyable because bitter rivals Everton were dismantled by Chelsea. A lot has been made of Everton's transfer activities, and I was quick to put a sharp hush on things. In their 2-0 defeat, they barely had a kick and were totally outclassed. Granted, they were resolute versus Manchester City. I wondered how much of this was down to City's sluggish start, something supported by their lucky win over Bournemouth. Their inability to make an impact versus Chelsea suggests that my original thoughts on Everton were correct. I don't care that they were playing the champions at their home ground. When you play a fellow big team, you keep it difficult and you make your presence felt however you want it. Everton were submissive. I don't particularly see them as a creative side, and as far as competing for a top 4 spot, they are still a work in progress. As for Conte's men, they've reacted brilliantly to the opening day shocker versus Burnley, and have probably done enough to convince doubters that they will challenge for the title. Alvaro Morata deserves praise too. He was roasted for missing the decided spot kick versus Arsenal in the Community Shield. However, he's now created a new Premier League record, becoming the first player to score twice and assist twice in his first 2 home matches. Morata may not catch the eye the way Salah's speed or Lukaku's power does, and he certainly doesn't have the hype of Lacazette, but he is the best all-rounder of that lot, is a big game player, and is the only proven winner of the aforementioned, and Chelsea fans are seeing this firsthand. It makes sense to segue onto runners-up Tottenham, whose Wembley curse continues. Originally, I was vehemently opposed to calling it a curse. If you look at the type of teams that Tottenham have lost playing at Wembley, it's been those who are better or equally matched to them. They gave it their all versus Chelsea and lost to a fantastic free kick and a last minute counter attack. Against Burnley, it was another last minute counter that did them in, but only after having double the amount of shots that Burnley had. So I'd refrain from saying that Wembley is a problem just yet. Spurs are playing well and have just been unlucky. They are also notoriously slow starters on the Pochettino. Daniel Levy is also slow in the transfer market and prefers to leave his business until the last minute. Poch has already said he's waiting on 3 players, and I'd wait to see them come in before judging if Wembley is indeed a curse or not. I'd now like to talk about refereeing, and that takes us on to Man City and Raheem Sterling's controversial red card, except, well, I don't get the controversy. He was on a yellow card, he ran into the crowd, which is a violation, so by the rules he was sent off for a second yellow. I am sick and tired of hearing all sorts about how we have to allow for the emotions of the game. So in that case, are those same pundits and fans accepting of the emotions of a player when a bigger team comes in and said player now refuses to play for the old club? It's just hypocrisy. Just like when everyone except Arsenal fans were adamant Lacazette's left butt cheek or whatever was offside versus Stoke. At the end of the day, the rules are the rules and they are put there in place for a reason. Bournemouth's ground is not the most high tech, and when Sterling ran into the crowd, it caused a spillage, including one fan in particular who had to be restrained. Luckily, no one between fans, stewards and players were hurt, but it could have been different. Aguero and Mendy were alleged to be involved in some sort of confrontation that was later debunked, but like I said, it could have been a lot worse, so definitely Sterling had to go. He's now missing the big showdown versus former club Liverpool, and considering how he's twice bailed out City with crucial goals, the equaliser versus Everton and the winner versus Bournemouth, plus how shaky City have been, he will be missed. Klopp's big game record is the best in the league, and Pep Guardiola cannot afford to lose any more points to Manchester United. They were at it again with a win over Leicester. They had to scrap for this one, but even in doing so, they were rarely under pressure. Given the state of their fixture list, they could conceivably be several points clear by the time their first top 6 clash comes along. If you look at Mourinho's title winning seasons, They have always blown away the contenders at the start, so that's a great omen for United fans. I'd like to say more, but I've already done a video solely focusing on Manchester United recently, so I'll leave a link in the description box. Last point of discussion regards two under pressure managers. First with Frank de Boer. Given his penchant for patient build-up of play, he seemed ill-suited to Palace, who have had a slew of managers preferring direct football. I saw his appointment as an attempt to cultivate the club. That's all well and good, but you've got to have the tools to do so. The fact Palace have been set up as a team who tries to minimise the limitations by being abrasive, it wasn't pretty, but it was fit for survival. Palace have only bought one player and they've completely changed their style of play, so of course they're struggling. I think the board needs to back the ball and he needs to be given time. As for Slaven Bilic, he's got to go. He's riding off that wave in that wacky season where the Hammers nearly qualified for the Champions League and Leicester won the league. Even then, however, there were signs it was potentially a one-season wonder. They conceded many goals, yet Bilic has barely signed any defenders since. Even when he has, the ones he's signed have been a complete joke. Conceding 3 in 10 suggests that the problems are only going to get worse, and he needs to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the Premier League weekend. I've decided to talk about the major talking points in one video, rather than doing separate ones, as that can be time consuming and prevents me from watching some of the games. Please let me know in the comment section if you think this is the right choice. If so, I will continue to do these reviews every Monday evening. As always, thanks for your time. Please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell for notifications the minute I upload a video. Till next time, I've been Scoop and I'm scoping out.